Hello everyone and a very good morning. Welcome to PendulumEdu guys, and I can see that Arush is right there who has joined us, and I can also see Rahul. So yeah, welcome guys, and I hope you guys have gone through the previous session that was yesterday's, and if you haven't, you can go to the channel and you can definitely go through the previous videos that we have done so far. Now when I talk about vocabulary guys, it is much important that you guys focus on what is to be like. When it comes to enhancing your word powers, you have to definitely go through every single note. Like, you have to take notice of the words that we do, plus the synonyms or antonyms that we tend to make, like we practice, right? So that is also much needed. Guys, if you are not going through the example sentences that we share in the list that we give to you throughout, the link given in the description is for the list that we share with you guys, wherein we give you synonyms, antonyms and example sentences. So that is much needed. So you guys have to go through it so that you get the desired benefit that we wish to provide or extend to you, right? Alright guys, so I believe that this information that I have been sharing with you guys has proven much beneficial, and to a great extent it has been fruitful, and these efforts that we are making together will bring some bright colors in our lives. Okay, all right, so let's begin with today's article, and this morning let's start fresh, and the article for today heads as War and Words on Afghanistan's slow progress towards peace and stability. Guys, when I say war and words, okay, so along with the fight that is going on, there are words. That means, through, see, there are verbal and there's physical fight and assault and attack, right? So there's verbal and there's physical. Like, you can say there's war and words going on all together. There are debates also going on, and there's a cold war also running. Now, why, where, what is the situation, why are people doing this? We're going to check it out right now. On Afghanistan's slow progress, so Afghanistan is progressing slow on what is peace and stability, and definitely there you see every other day there's some or the other news that lights up or that comes up, okay, about some, let's say, something that has gone wrong or some other thing that has happened. So probably about that we're talking about, and it says talks on Taliban's terms with halt Afghanistan's slow progress toward peace and stability. These are talks on Taliban's term. How are these two like having or sharing the relationship? What kind of relationship do they share? With the Afghan government and the Taliban preparing to resume talks in Doha next week, one of the pressing problems Afghanistan is facing remains unaddressed, guys. Just assume, just let's have a look at this. When I'm saying stability, we all know I'm talking about, हिंदी में जिसको हम कहते हैं स्थिरता, it is the state of peace or settlement. Okay, something that is settled, the zone or state when you find yourself that you're settled, there's nothing harmful that can happen, things are at peace, things are running smoothly, so there's stability. Okay, now they say that with the Afghan government and Taliban preparing to resume talks in Doha next week. Now they next week they are planning to have the various discussions about the pressing problem that Afghanistan is facing. Okay, now this problem, that one of the pressing problem, one of the most important problems that Afghanistan is facing, it remains unaddressed. Unaddressed is an adjective which means unconsidered. Unconsidered, which means it was ignored, it remains ignored. उसको जो है तवज्जो नहीं दी गई, उसको वो इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दी गई, इट इज स्टिल नेग्लेक्टेड, उसको अभी भी नकार दिया गया है. ऑलराइट, So, the surging violence. What is that concept problem which has been remained yet it is unaddressed? It is the surging violence. Surging again is an adjective, guys, because it is qualifying the noun subject violence. So, surging means increasing violence. What is it? Increasing violence. The year 2020 was one of the bloodiest in Afghanistan's 19-year-long conflict. So, this year, that is 2020, this was the best, like the worst of all, the 19-year long conflict that is ongoing conflict in Afghanistan. This year 2020 has proven to be the worst. Okay, it saw a US Taliban agreement in February where the Americans promised to withdraw troops in return from the insurgents in assurance. Who are insurgents? Guys, insurgent is a noun. It is a person who is a revolutionary. You know, विद्रोही जो होते हैं, revolutionary, जिसको हम हिंदी में कहते हैं विद्रोही. So वो insurgents होते हैं. तो they say that Americans have promised to withdraw troops in return for the insurgents' assurance that they would not allow terrorist groups such as Al-Qaeda to operate from Afghan soil. So what has America done? February, US and Taliban, they have signed an agreement. They have put in an agreement, okay, and they have the promise that has been made, or the agreement that has been done, or the deal signed, is on the basis that Americans promised to withdraw their troops. Okay, they're not going to do anything. They're withdrawing their troops. In return, they have asked that you assure that the insurgents, these revolutionaries, जो विद्रोही हैं, जो terrorists, you can say, they will not operate from the Afghan soil. They will not operate from Afghanistan. So you have to ensure this. In return, they have withdrawn their troops. So this is an agreement that Taliban and US have made. Moving ahead, the writer adds, in September, the Afghan government and the Taliban began peace talks for the first time in Doha. Guys, this is for the first time that Afghan and Taliban, these governments have come up and sat down for a discussion. This is for the very first time. But despite these diplomatic openings, guys, see this, despite ke saath we haven't used of. This is a major mistake that generally we make. We never use of with despite. Despite stands alone. So in grammatical errors also you are asked questions based on this, so you don't have to put of with despite. With in spite you definitely use. It is in spite of. Okay, this is correct. This is wrong. But despite these diplomatic openings, diplomatic, again an adjective. Diplomatic is an adjective. Okay, this means relating to diplomacy, something related to diplomacy. अच्छा, कहते हैं ना एक तरीके का कि दो तरीके से हम बात करें या फिर बीच का रास्ता निकालो. Alright. So, see, what are they trying to do? They are having diplomatic openings. Diplomatic openings, US, Taliban, Afghan, Taliban. So, these are diplomatic situations when Taliban is sitting for talk with Afghanistan as well. It has signed an agreement with US as well. So, two ways, na? दो तरीके, दो तरफा हो रहा है. Both sides have continued their attacks. Now, because this is a diplomatic opening, there are attacks from both the ends. In the quarter that ended on September 30, violence surged by 50%. You see, the aggression and violence, it increased by almost 50%, according to the US Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction. He actually quoted this. Afghanistan also saw increased targeted killings, especially of media professionals. So there were targeted killings, there were set killings that, okay, this person has to be shot dead or this person has to be shot dead. These were the targeted killings. It was all well planned. It was all well planned. This conveys, this shows that things were well planned, and the violence increasing to such a great extent is because of things not being addressed, the problems not being addressed, and because of which the aggression is increasing or surging day by day. All right. So surge, yes, definitely surge. Synonyms would be increase, arise, uprise, raise. Okay, elevate. All of these. Elevate. All of these words are the synonyms for surge. Guys, if you have to ask me synonyms, antonyms, anything, you guys can write down. I'm there with your chat section as well. I'm up there. You can let me know. All right, moving ahead. On December 10, Malala Mewand, a TV host, was shot dead along with her driver. Just imagine. In less than 2 weeks, Rahmatullah Nikzat, a freelance photographer, was killed in Ghazni. The Taliban have denied their any role, but government officials say the insurgents who banned TV and turned print and radio into propaganda platforms. Propaganda platforms? Propaganda is a noun subject. Propaganda, which means the way or the approach of spreading news or any agenda, something that you want to tell to people. There's a propaganda, there's a purpose behind it. So that is this, they've turned print and radio into propaganda platforms. When in power in the late 1990s, what they did, they have turned it into they've turned it into platforms that fulfill their purpose, their agenda. So this is what the insurgents have done, and this is since late 1990s when they came into power. Now, also, were behind the attacks as a seek to silence critical voices. Critical voices, that means something that is sensitive. Okay, जिसको हम हिंदी में कहते हैं नाजुक. So जो sensitive topics हैं या or sensitive discussions or points to consider, they have tried to suppress them all. They've tried to silence them, which means उनको दबाने की कोशिश की, उनको शांत चुप कर देने की कोशिश की गई है. Behind all this, all they have done with the print media and radio, what they have done, with TV also, they've banned TV. All they have done is they have just tried to fulfill what their sole purpose is. If they want to convey something, the insurgents just they resorted, or they have just I would say they have boycotted everyone. They have taken it aside from everyone and they were using it for their own purpose. That's it. Nothing more than that. The peace talks are a complicated process. Guys, there's a beautiful word that is a synonym for complicated, which is naughty. Okay? Knotty, naughty. This is a synonym for complicated. Okay? That's the synonym, this word that is naughty. Naughtty, also they sound similar. Okay, they can be homonyms, but they are different in meaning and spelling as well. The US first cut a deal with the Taliban and then arm twisted the government to join the talks. Now imagine, first the US signed a deal with Taliban, and now it has arm twisted. It means it has convinced or trying to force it to join the talks with the Afghan government. So some or the other way, there is a diplomacy that lies there, and you never know what game plan or strategy a particular government or a particular group has. So there's nothing. So the political agenda that's there, the political entire setup, that's a bit I would say that's a bit uncertain. Okay, you cannot predict what will happen next. It is something that's entirely uncertain. All right, I hope you guys are understanding and you'll be able to grab what I'm trying to convey. Yes, right. Okay, you can quickly write to me, yes, you are understanding or not. If you have any sort of questions to ask, you guys can definitely let me know, guys. All right, so there are no doubts as such. Okay, we can go ahead, not a problem. All right. Further, the writer also adds Abdullah, who challenged the 2019 election results and formed a short-lived parallel government questioning the legitimacy and authority. Legitimacy, it is a noun subject, guys. It means it questions the reality, the legality. उसकी जो सच्चाई है या जो उसकी existence है, it questions that. It questions the authority of president, that is the power of the president. Ashraf Ghani is heading the government delegation in the talks. Now, who is this man? Abdullah. This man, he challenged, he was up in the election in 2019, okay, and he formed a very short-lived government, okay, it didn't last for a long span of time, and he was there, he was a challenger there, is now holding the government delegation in the talks, okay, when the talks are going on. This is the man who is there, who is holding, who is the, in charge, okay. Mr. Ghani's vice president, Amrullah Saleh, the former intelligence chief, is known for his strong anti-Taliban views. Okay, this man is known that he's against Talibans. Maybe he does not abide, or he does not like the views that Talibans have or the beliefs that they share. Despite the divisions within, the government had demanded a ceasefire, but the Taliban resisted such demands and emphasize other talking points such as prisoner swaps and the future governance system. So they are not okay with the ceasefire. Okay, Taliban completely denied this ceasefire attempt. Okay, they don't want that, and they resisted it, and they have turned these things towards the prisoner swap and future governance system, all of this. But when it comes to ceasefire, they are not ready for it, which means they're not ready for peace. Don't you think so? Okay. As a result, violence continued even as both sides negotiated ways to end the war. Though there were negotiations, but still things have not settled until now. Things are still running, things are still going on. The negotiation part has not brought much of effect, or I must say much of positive effect that it should have brought. Earlier in December, after 3 months of talks, the Taliban and the government delegation agreed on a set of rules and procedures for the talks. But a ceasefire is still elusive. Elusive, that is, it is far to see. Elusive is an adjective which means something that's unclear, something is far to catch, like you cannot find it easily. जिसको पकड़ना आसान ना हो, या जिसको पाना आसान ना हो, okay, that is elusive. Something that it's unclear, uncertain. You don't know when you can have it, or when you will get it, or when will you find it. You are not aware of it. So that is elusive. The Trump administration, in its quest, guys, what is quest? Amazing word and very commonly used nowadays, guys. It is a noun subject. Who can quickly tell me the meaning of quest, guys? Arush, can you tell me the meaning of quest? Quest is a noun subject and it is just commonly used these days. And when you are looking for something, that is quest, which means a search. ढूंढना किसी चीज़ को, the act of searching, ठीक है. अगर आप किसी चीज़ को ढूंढ रहे हो तो वो quest है. तो यहाँ पर क्या है? The Trump administration in its quest to get out of the war, वो ढूंढ रहा है कि कैसे वो इस war से बाहर निकल सकते हैं. Failed to extract any major compromise from the Taliban when it rolled out the peace process. So what happened when, the Trump administration, which means the US government, it is rigorously trying to move out of the war situation, all right? It is looking for ways, वो ढूंढ रहे हैं तरीके कि वो कैसे बाहर आ जाए, but वो इस चीज़ में successful नहीं हुए हैं. They have failed to extract or to come up with any compromise with the Taliban, okay? So that it can roll out, which means it can introduce or it can launch the peace process. So that is still due. Things are not at peace, are not settled yet. So war and words, you remember the heading of the article, war and words. Okay, Further, the writer also adds the insurgents who control most of the countryside are already upbeat. That means they're already active, they're already lively. मतलब वो बहुत एक्टिव हैं, एडजेक्टिव है, ठीक है. वो तो इंसर्जेंट जो एक तरीके के टेररिस्ट ही होते हैं, वो विद्रोही जो हैं, वो सब एकदम रेडी हैं, ठीक है. The next American administration should carry out an honest review of the entire peace process and push the Taliban to make concessions. So what are they trying to say? They're trying to say that, okay, Trump administration, fine, what happened, it happened. Now the next American administration that has come up, it should come up, or it should come up with a plan to give an honest review to the peace process. The peace process that the US has been trying to make, and it has trying to launch the peace process, but it is not being able to. It should be reviewed. If there are any loopholes, they should be addressed well. The talks are vital. It is an adjective, which means they are important. The talks are important. कहते हैं ना ज़रूरी, या एक और वर्ड हिंदी में हम यूज़ करते हैं महत्वपूर्ण, right? महत्वपूर्ण. So these talks are vital. See, definitely, instead of weapons and wars, you can have a negotiation. You can sit and talk about it. That would be very, very easier. The talks are vital to finding a lasting solution to the conflict, but it should not be on the Taliban's terms, which could erase whatever little progress Afghanistan has made since the fall of the Taliban. So it will definitely give it a fall until unless if we are, see, the talks are important, they are necessary, but we cannot make it happen what Taliban asks for. सिर्फ नेगोशिएशन का मतलब ये नहीं है कि तालिबान जो कहे वैसा ही होगा. सो दैट इज़ ऑल्सो टू बी कंसिडर. अदरवाइज चीज़ें फिर से तालिबान के हाथ में चली जाएंगी and things will not come, like there won't be any improvement, okay, as such. So that is what they are saying for. So this was the entire article, guys, and as you can see, the article has ended here, and I wish to focus on 5 top words from the article. The top 5 words from the article are these, and I hope you guys know the meaning now, so you guys can tell me in the chat box the meanings that you know. Diplomatic was an adjective, stability noun, legitimacy noun, quest noun, upbeat adjective. So you can quickly give me the meanings, guys, and I'm waiting for the answer from your end. You can give me the meaning of these words. If you don't know, I'm going to definitely help you out, but this is an amazing way because I want to highlight a few words. See, the list is right there with you. In the description given below, the link is there. You get the list of all the words discussed, okay? But these are the 5 words that I want to focus because these are more frequently used, okay? Diplomatic means something that is related to diplomacy. जो कहते हैं ना, जो दो तरफा खेल रहा है, जो सही को सही भी नहीं बोल, जो कोई चीज़ गलत है तो उसको गलत भी नहीं बोल रहा और सही भी नहीं बोल रहा, कहीं बीच में कहीं डोल रहा है, okay? Stability means स्थिरता, there is settlement. हिंदी में हम कहते हैं स्थिरता, एक ठहराव आ गया है. Legitimacy किसी चीज़ की जो लीगैलिटी होती है, जो कि अप्रूव है, जो कि सच है, जो कि सही है. Quest का मतलब क्या होता है, guys? सर्च, ओके? किसी चीज़ को आप ढूंढ रहे हैं, आप उस चीज़ के लिए जो एफर्ट्स कर रहे हैं, दैट इज़ क्वेस्ट. एंड अपबीट, अभी मैंने बताया आपको, लाइवली. देखो, पॉजिटिव वे में भी यूज़ कर सकते हो क्योंकि इसका मतलब चीयरफुल होता है. यहाँ पर इंसर्जेंट्स की बात थी तो मैंने कहा वो बहुत एक्टिव हैं, वो फुल ऑफ एनर्जी लग रहे हैं, वो हर चीज़ के लिए तैयार हैं. चीयरफुल, आई एम गोइंग टू राइट इट अगेन क्लियरली, चीयरफुल. ऑलराइट. So these are the 5 words that I wanted to emphasize on so that you guys can try to put them into use regularly. Guys, whenever you do vocabulary, make sure that if few words get stuck in your brain, try to put them into use in your daily conversations, okay? It will become easier to memorize, to take hold of these words, and definitely it's going to help you to see. You cannot cram a vocabulary. अगर आप 4 words अभी रट लेंगे तो वो लंबे टाइम तक नहीं चलेगा. So try to inculcate, absorb them, try to put them into use in situations and conditions, you will definitely feel at ease and you will be able to settle them or hold them for longer time. Alright guys, I shall see you in the next session guys soon, that is tomorrow. Till then, keep learning and growing.